What's up everyone? Today we're gonna talk about Nightcrawler, the new movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. Nightcrawler is the story of Kurt Wagner, a mutant with blue skin who can teleport anywhere he... Now wait a second. Looks like somebody messed up my files. I'm sorry guys, let's start again. Nightcrawler is set in LA and tells the story of Lou Bloom, an ambitious young man desperate for work.
Excuse me, sir. I'm looking for a job. I'm a hard worker. I set high goals. My motto is, if you want to win the lottery, you have to make the money to buy a ticket.
When you look at him, Bloom doesn't seem like a bad fellow. Well-groomed, smiles all the time, usually in a good mood, and he always speaks in a very quiet manner. But I'm telling you, something's off about him. I don't know, must be his eyes. One night, he finds himself at the scene of a car crash where he meets some cameramen. Their job is to shoot the bodies and then sell the footage to the highest TV news bidder. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not the line of work I would find very attractive. Lou, however, has no issue with it. For him, it's actually kind of a dream job. So he gets himself a cheap video camera and a police scanner to make a living in a seedy underworld as a freelance crime journalist. Because Bloom may appear charming and sophisticated at first, but is in fact a dangerous sociopath who couldn't care less about other people's lives. He's a cunning, obsessive and arrogant sadist who is not afraid to manipulate and blackmail people to reach his goals. He clearly has no sense of moral responsibility or social conscience.
Detective Fanieri, I think you withheld information.
That would be a very unprofessional thing for me to do.
It would be murder.
It doesn't matter if he's filming the dead bodies of a car wreck or the victims of a homicide, all he cares about is to get the right camera angle to capture the mayhem. The more shocking the tapes are, the more money he can get for them. Nightcrawler presents us with the dark and nasty side of TV channels, where the news directors use clever tricks to keep their audience in fear with the latest shocks and satisfy their morbid interest with juicy crime stories.
Television? Morning news, if it bleeds, it leads.
So when the newscaster is telling us,
We want to warn our viewers that these are extremely graphic images.
it's not a warning, it's an invitation to watch. With both movies focusing on a mentally unstable marginal loner who prowls the streets after dark in search for crime, Nightcrawler reminds me a lot of Taxi Driver. But here, we are facing a different kind of disturbing reality. While the character played by Robert De Niro chose to fight back against a system in which he felt ignored and alienated, Bloom will be the one to embrace it and use it for his own profit. For him, the whole situation is just a way to make a quick buck and step up the social ladder. In this case, we realize that in spite of being a despicable character, Bloom is mostly an opportunist trying to make a living in a desensitized world where human life has no value.
Excuse me. I have something you'll be very excited about.
You have a good eye. I want you to contact me when you have something.
Something like this.
Think of our newscast as a screaming woman running down the street with her throat cut.
You will be seeing me again.
Visually, first-time director Dan Gilroy captures the same streetlight-drenched LA from Michael's Man Collateral and Nicolas Winding Refn's Drive. But what's interesting here is the writing. Dan Gilroy is Tony Gilroy's brother. Tony is a famous screenwriter known for his work on the action-packed Bourne trilogy, the crime drama Michael Clayton, and the thriller Devil's Advocate. In other words, he's able to write suspenseful action sequences and also to immerse us into the bone-chilling world of politicians and bureaucrats who are ready to sell their soul, and sometimes literally, to get the power and recognition they desire. Dan manages to do both in the same movie. The first hour of Nightcrawler is a rather long portrayal of Bloom as a character driven by success who wisely conceals his perverse and impulsive behavior behind the guise of a dynamic young go-getter. However, it's only a slow build-up for the second part of the movie that will get your heart racing with some nerve-wracking conversations and nail-biting car chases. But most of all, Nightcrawler is Jake Gyllenhaal in one of his best performances to date. Gyllenhaal is clearly one of the most talented actors of his generation. He's never afraid to take risks and to choose unconventional roles to break his image of a young and handsome heartthrob. One day, he'll be a twisted and deranged teenager. Another, he'll be an acrobatic warrior in a boring video game adaptation. Not to mention that he's become a gay icon as a cowboy in love. In Nightcrawler, he is mesmerizing as a character both endearing and daunting, who brings us back to Anthony Perkins in Psycho. He's lost a lot of weight to appear more menacing, but 90% of his performance are in his eyes. We simply cannot look away from his penetrating eyes, the eyes of someone who knows what he wants and who will crush anyone in his way to make sure he gets it. The rest of the cast is excellent, with solid acting from screen veterans Bill Paxton and Rene Russo. Both of them were at the peak of their career in the 80s and 90s, but they haven't lost their touch. Bill Paxton has always been a good friend of James Cameron and appears in most of his movies, from Terminator to Aliens, True Lies, and even Titanic. Recently, we can see him in the sci-fi epic Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. Rene Russo is no stranger to action movies either, and she's been praised for her ability to hold her own against the major male co-stars. Fun fact, she's married to the director. So, Nightcrawler is at once a gritty, thought-provoking thriller, a satire of the media, and a biting critic of capitalism today. It's a horror movie with real-world frights that shows the immoral decisions people can make to survive in a struggling economy. The movie may drag on from time to time, but it's worth watching for Gyllenhaal alone, who gives us some of his best work in his entire career. Such a shame he didn't even get an Oscar nod. So that's it guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, feel free to comment and thanks for watching.